had to take these out. They're in the rails, and that keeps the window from coming all the way out by accident, I suppose. So there's one here in that track, there's one down there in that track, which you access through right there and right there. I actually had to take these two screws out because right at the very top it was binding, so I needed a little bit of play. And other than that, there's two screws here and here that are bolted to the scissor lift. There's a bar across here, and then you can pull it out. Well, you haven't lived until you've had the opportunity to try to remove the guide rollers on the Camaro windows. As you can see, there's nothing to grab on this side of the rivet and nothing on this side. I mean, of course there is like an option for the spanner wrench, which does absolutely nothing except bend the wrench. I couldn't get a hold on it with a channel lock. That was useless. Finally got this pipe wrench to grab it, but then the inside spins. After much deliberation, I actually got it to move, but really dumb. I couldn't believe how tight it was. Once I get these rollers out, hopefully I can put them on the new glass, and then also these which go onto the scissors, the scissor lift bars, and then try to get this one driver's side window in here. All the hardware transferred over to the new window. Now these tracks, these bolts I just loosened, and I slid this track all the way towards the inside. The back one here is, I took the bolts out because I couldn't get the old window out otherwise. But I think the trick is to like tilt it in there. I put new. Okay, I had a fiddle with the fiddly bits, as they always like to say on wheeler dealers, but I got it in. Now I gotta line it up with the tracks, the two vertical tracks. Probably two people would be good on a job like this, just guessing. Alright, the back one is loose, so that's going to be a pain. The front one, I think I can get it in there. I'm going to come back this way a little more. Well, it's really hard to see what's going on. Ah! Alright. Okay. After a lot of choice words, and I had to totally unbolt that track because the two tracks don't line up with each other. They're just a little too far apart. I think I got it in. Had to like peel the rubber off the back because it was hanging up. Drop it down. To where? Okay, I finally grabbed the block of wood to hold the window up a little bit, and you can see there's the stud, there's the hole. And I just gotta like fiddle with it to get it to go into there. That's that one. And the one in the back, same deal. over here. Pardon the camera. Getting bounced around. Alright, that's sort of in there. Alright, that's a 7/16 long. I got that one started. Come around to this side. This is going to take 2 hands for sure. Get this one in there. This keeps popping off for some reason. Hey Mo, look, I found it. About 5 minutes later. Where is it? Oh. Okay. Well, now I know why the glass guy said he charges quite a bit more for putting in the door glass. And I'm like, oh, I can handle that. I could save myself some money. I could do that, no problem. Yep, no problem. You gotta lower it just enough to get the tool in there. Oh, now I can sigh a sigh of tiredness and relief. So I got some cardboard jammed in there. I hope I didn't scratch anything up whilst I was messing around with this thing, because this is tinted, factory tinted, but I just don't want to scratch anything regardless. But okay, so now I can put the screws back in the track locator holes on both ends here. Then I got to put the guides with the little felt protectors. I don't know, they give you this bag of Velcro and staples and what all. Figure out where that goes. I was warned by an auto glass place that I've worked with before. You never know what you get when you order stuff online. Well, take a gander. I don't know if it's visible, but see the gap in the molding there? See the bubble? How tight it is right here. If you look back the other way, this glass is like wavy as anything. There's no way the weather strip will ever seal. It's like totally hollow right in here. I mean, the driver's side, now that I've looked at this one, is a little bit out of whack. Now I'm a little worried about the back glass fitting. I'm going to test fit this. Oh, this handle holds. Oh, it's upside down. Harbor Freight, you know, you just never know. I'm using blocks of wood and tape to mark the exact location for when I put the glue on and stick it in finally. Okay, just make sure you have all the clips. If you need to replace any of them, put them all in first, because the caulk is going to get all over everything. And you don't want to be messing around with that later. I'm just going to wipe this down, make sure the edges are clean, and I'm going to run a bead of caulk around the windshield here, back windshield. I got the butyl caulk stuck in place about 1/4 inch, 3/16 from the edge, and I've seen other YouTube guys use this. Apparently GM did it this way. They put this, and then you can run this with a cut to keep it from smearing around. You can guide it along the edge, run that all the way around, and the urethane actually will seal it, because this is more or less a spacer. If you rely just on butyl caulk, you run the risk of having the windshield sink down or slide on a hot day, and that's how the old one was. It was actually all the way down against the, touching the lower edge here. It had slid all the way against this metal and the clips and stuff. Well, the problem with being high viscosity, which is what they recommend, I guess, it won't come out of the tube. So, I mean, it's not very warm in here, but I still had to use a heat gun, even though I got it up to about 70, but I still have to heat this tube just to get it to come out. And also, it does not fit in a standard caulk gun. I had to like grind out the opening just to get it in there, and it's a little tough on the hands for sure. Well, here it is. I'm going for it. Okay, let's see if you get it right this time, Smarty. Probably not advisable. Notice the tape is not exactly lined up side to side. It got all over me. I got it on the paint. I was more concerned about the sticky glue getting all over me in the car. What happened? My blocks let me down. This is a problem now because you really cannot slide it without rolling the butyl tape. Oh, I see, because it's so much higher, the blocks are angled. It's so much higher than it was before. So it won't actually touch the side ones. The bottoms are fine. The side ones are whacked out. And the problem is the butyl caulk won't let it move. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Now if it was warm enough in here, we could like press it and then put the trim right on. Make sure it's sitting at the proper depth. Alright, so it should have been warmer in here, and the glue should have been, the poly should have been heated up ahead of time, and it's not ideal conditions, but it's in. Only problem is you can see through the windshield. The trim won't cover all of that. You'll probably see a little bit of the black, although this is already tinted, so it's not bad. But the butyl caulk could have been closer to the edge. I think it rolled out when I pushed the windshield over that 1/8 of an inch, but it shouldn't be more than a 1/4 inch from the edge of the glass. And when I ran the caulk gun across there, it kind of pushed the butyl caulk out of the way. It's hard, really hard. I mean, my hands are killing me. They're all cramped up. You gotta have a good caulk gun, which I don't have. But it worked out. And so did this Harbor Freight jobber here. Oh, really? Now it won't come off. There we go. That worked good. Well, now we got the windshield and we're done. Okay, so for the windshield I did the same thing. There's actually a support bracket here, and on the other side I took some of this and I took some wood, blocked it up to the right height so that this sits even all around as best as possible. I don't know if this windshield is really perfectly sized, you know, like it should be, but it seems like it's a little short at the bottom here. So now I made markers on both sides. This is really the only reference I need. I'm going to take it out and prepare it. So we ordered rear back molding clip set and windshield molding clips. Different model numbers on here, but they both cause cancer, and they're both exactly the same. I took them side by side. There is no difference whatsoever if you hold them the right way. However, the clips on the front windshield, the pins that stick out, seem to be shorter, and if you take one of the factory ones and slide it on there, it's just loose. It won't. You can pull it right back off again. So what I did was I took a pair of pliers, just gave it a little squeeze, and then they actually kind of, I was going to say they kind of stay put, but still don't stay put. I don't understand what the problem is. See, they're supposed to catch on this bottom piece here. I don't really get it. So I got to put these in, and then I can polyurethane the windshield. Okay, this time I decided to run the poly bead first. It's hard to see here, it's a little dark. And now, I didn't do the bottom edge yet, but now I'm gonna put the butyl tape right up against it, because last time the caulk gun kept pushing the butyl tape out of the way. It's gonna end up here. Just let me guide it, okay? You hold it. I try to get the tape right on the block, but tilt this because it's going to hit the fender. Slide it right in, like that. The bottom's touching, right? Now theoretically, it's going to come a little bit to me. Theoretically, we could just see it's hitting the fender, right? Is it hitting anything? No. Yes, it is. It's hitting on my side. That's the problem. Are you clear? Yeah. Let it down. It's hitting the fender.
I don't know what to do about that.
Come over here.
Let go over this.
Huh? Just come over here and hold this side, then I'll come over there. Just hold it up to make sure it doesn't come off the block on the bottom there. It helps to have an extra pair of hands when something unexpected like this happens. But I just had to fold the plastic out of the way and then drop the window back in under it. Is that, and the dots are lined up, right? Yeah. Pretty much. No. Okay, that's it. Thanks. I'm just loosely assembling all the corners and the separate pieces to make sure they all latch together and line up before I start pressing them in tight against the clips. Now, professional installers usually put the trim on right away while the glue is still soft. But I didn't want to take out the blocks ahead of time and have the windshield shift, so I kind of pushed it in tight to where I thought it should be. And then after it dried, I put this on. And these go in. They're not symmetrical, so you gotta have the flat side goes towards the bottom, which is also the short side. slide him over. Unfortunately, I just realized this has to be trimmed off. They left this like flexible edge on there, and there's a bevel right alongside of it that's supposed to catch the molding, so unless you cut this part off, it's crappy manufacturing. Now they leave everything for the hobbyists to figure out, because I looked at one of the old ones and this part was gone, so you got to do that. Might have to trim a little more. There's supposed to be a little bevel across that edge. Okay, so all the buttons are locked in. I'm going to fold the top over, hook the top edge in, get it centered.